you've achieved the goals you set. The income is there, the status is secured, but a persistent feeling of emptiness remains. It's a quiet void that success can't seem to fill. Why do so many people who appear to have everything feel as though they have nothing? The answer is not found in acquiring more, but in becoming more. Jim Rohn taught that the most important fortune is the one you build inside yourself. This is the roadmap to cultivating that inner wealth, the true secret that separates the merely rich from the truly fulfilled. The great deception of modern life is the belief that your happiness and success depend on what you have. You are taught to chase the car, the house, the title, and the bank account, believing that once you possess these things, you will finally become the person you want to be. This is the single greatest error keeping people from a life of fulfillment. It is a complete reversal of natural law. You have been taught to pursue the effect while ignoring the cause. The truth is, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your outer world, in all its detail, is a perfect reflection of your inner world. This is the timeless law of sowing and reaping, applied not just to a farmer's field, but to the garden of your mind. If you sow a thought of resentment, you will reap an action of bitterness. If you sow an action of indiscipline, you will reap a habit of failure. If you sow a habit of negativity, you will reap a character of despair. And if you sow a character of despair, you will inevitably reap a destiny of lack and disappointment. The harvest is certain. The world simply gives you back what you have put in. To try and build a fortune without first building your character is like trying to construct a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. From a distance, the structure might look impressive. You might get the promotion, start the business, or make the money. But without a solid foundation of inner wealth, the entire structure is unstable. The foundation isn't made of concrete and steel. It's made of discipline, integrity, courage, and a sound personal philosophy. A foundation of sand is a philosophy of blame, excuses, and procrastination. When the inevitable storms of life arrive, a market downturn, a personal crisis, a business challenge, the structure built on sand will crack. The pressure reveals the weakness of the foundation, and the collapse is not a matter of if, but when. You see this everywhere. People who achieve great success only to lose it all because their character could not sustain their wealth. This is why the focus must shift from what you are getting to who you are becoming. Inner wealth is not some vague mystical idea. It is a portfolio of tangible, invaluable assets. These assets are the virtues you cultivate. Discipline is an asset. Gratitude is an asset. The thirst for knowledge is an asset. Courage, kindness, and integrity are all assets that form the bedrock of a successful life. Unlike money, these assets cannot be lost in a recession. Unlike possessions, they cannot be stolen. They become a permanent part of you. The world tells you to go out and get rich so you can have a better life. The law of the universe says to work on yourself, to build your inner fortune, and your outer life will inevitably improve to match it. You don't get the rewards and then develop the character. You develop the character and then you earn the rewards. It is always a matter of deserving. The marketplace and life itself pays you for the value you bring. To increase your reward, you must first increase your value. This value is not determined by your desire for more, but by the person you have become through diligent daily practice. The fundamental error is chasing the having before cultivating the being. Your task is to reverse this equation and focus first and foremost on becoming the person worthy of the success you desire. Your mind is a fertile garden. This is not just a pleasant metaphor, it is a functional reality. Into this garden, seeds are constantly being planted either by your design or by default. Left untended, your mental garden will not remain empty, waiting for your instruction. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you do not consciously plant the seeds of discipline, knowledge, and purpose, the winds of circumstance will blow in the seeds of neglect, and weeds will grow automatically. The soil of your mind is perfectly impartial. It will grow whatever you plant with equal vigor. It will nourish a seed of courage just as readily as it will nourish a seed of fear. The soil does not care about your intentions. It only responds to the seeds you allow to take root. The choice of what grows in this precious plot of land is entirely and inescapably yours. What are these weeds that strangle your potential? They are the persistent negative thoughts that choke the life out of your ambitions. The primary weed is doubt. Doubt in your abilities, doubt in your plan, doubt in the future. Closely following doubt is worry, which is a profound misuse of your creative imagination. It is the mental process of creating detailed, vivid scenarios of failure, loss, and despair. Then comes fear, the emotion that follows worry. which paralyzes action and keeps you locked in a state of inaction. Blame is another insidious weed, the act of giving away control over your life by holding other people and external conditions responsible for your circumstances. Finally, and perhaps most destructively, there is negative self-talk. This is the constant internal critic that whispers the old, tired stories. I'm not good enough. I've never been good with money. Success is for other people, not for me. Or, I'm too old to start now. These are not harmless, passing thoughts. They are invasive species in the garden of your mind, actively working against you. These weeds do far more than simply occupy space. They actively consume the finite resources you need for growth. Think of your focus and willpower as a specific amount of water available for your garden each day. Every drop of that precious water you pour onto a weed of worry is a drop you cannot give to the seed of your new business venture. Every ounce of mental and emotional energy you spend on replaying a past failure is energy that cannot be used for planning your future success. Weeds draw the vital nutrients from the soil, leaving your valuable crops, your goals, your positive habits, your aspirations, starved, weak, and unable to reach their full potential. A mind cluttered with the weeds of negativity cannot produce a harvest of abundance. It is a law of nature. You cannot hope for a rich harvest in a field you have allowed to become overgrown with thorns and thistles. Your potential is being actively consumed day by the thoughts you allow to take root and flourish. You are the master gardener. This is the ultimate form of personal responsibility. No one else can do this work for you. It is your duty to stand guard at the gate of your mind and inspect every seed that tries to enter, whether from a news report, a conversation, or your own internal monologue. It is your job to walk through your garden each morning and identify the weeds that have inevitably sprouted overnight. And once identified, it is your non-negotiable responsibility to pull them out by the root, without hesitation or sentimentality. This is not a one-time spring cleaning. Weeding is a daily disciplined practice. You cannot clear the garden once and expect it to remain pristine. Your vigilance must be constant. This is what most people miss about successful individuals. Their mental gardens are not magically free of weeds. They face the same seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity that blow into everyone's life. The difference is not the absence of weeds, but the discipline of their gardening. They are simply better at weeding. They have made it a non-negotiable daily ritual to inspect their thoughts, to uproot negativity the moment it appears, and to consciously plant and nurture the seeds of opportunity, gratitude, and resolve. The average person lets the weeds grow until they are staring at a jungle of problems. The successful person sees a single sprout of doubt and removes it before it has a chance to go to seed. They understand that the quality of their harvest tomorrow depends entirely on the quality of their gardening today. Most people hear the word discipline and they imagine a life of harsh restriction, of joyless obligation and punishment. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of its power and purpose. Discipline is not the cage that holds you captive. It is the master key that unlocks the door to the future you desire. It is the intelligent and loving act of choosing the person you want to become over the person you are right now. It is the bridge between your goals and their accomplishment. Without it, all the affirmations, vision boards, and positive intentions are merely wishful thinking floating in the air without substance. Discipline is the virtue that gives your dreams weight and your ambitions form. It is the master virtue because all other virtues depend on it for their existence. If your mind is a garden, then discipline is the very soil in which everything grows. You can hold the most valuable seeds in your hand. Seeds of a new business, seeds of a healthier body, seeds of a stronger relationship, but if you cast them upon barren, rocky ground, they will not grow. They will wither and be carried away by the wind. Discipline is the rich, fertile, life-giving soil. You must cultivate this soil first before you can expect any harvest. Courage is a plant that grows in the soil of discipline. Gratitude is a plant that grows in the soil of discipline. Wisdom is a plant that grows in the soil of discipline. You cannot simply decide to be courageous in a moment of crisis. You must have practiced the small disciplines of facing your fears day after day. Good intentions are not enough. You must first prepare the ground for greatness. This cultivation happens not in grand, heroic acts, but in the small, consistent, and often unseen choices you make every single day. The decision to get out of bed the moment your alarm sounds, rather than hitting the snooze button, is an act of discipline. Choosing to read 10 pages of a book that will expand your mind instead of passively scrolling through trivial entertainment is an act of discipline. Making the difficult phone call you have been avoiding is an act of discipline. Each of these choices on its own seems insignificant. But their true power is not in the act itself. It is in the promise you are keeping to yourself. Every time you choose the disciplined action over the easy one, you are casting a vote for the person you intend to become. You are proving to your own subconscious mind that you are someone who follows through. This is how you build self-trust, the bedrock of all genuine confidence. How can you expect the world to believe in you if you cannot even believe in yourself to do the small things you say you will do? Success is not a single spectacular event. It is the natural and predictable consequence of consistently applying your daily disciplines. It is the sum total of thousands of small, smart choices compounded over time. The mountain of your success is not conquered in one giant leap. It is climbed one steady, deliberate step at a time every single day. The failure to grasp this is why so many people abandon their goals. They practice a new discipline for a week, fail to see a monumental result, and conclude that it is not working. They lack the patience to let the law of accumulation work in their favor. One healthy meal will not make you fit, but 365 of them will transform your body. 1 hour of focused study will not make you an expert, but 1,000 hours will make you an authority. Your current life is nothing more than the sum of your past disciplines, or your lack of them. The life you will have 5 years from now will be the sum of the disciplines you begin practicing today. This is why discipline is the root system of your inner fortune. It is the invisible structure that gives you stability and draws nourishment to your character. When the storms of life arrive, and they will arrive, it is the deep roots of discipline that hold you firm. Just as discipline is widely misunderstood, so too is its powerful counterpart, gratitude. For most, gratitude is a passive response. It is a pleasant feeling that arises when something good happens. You get a promotion, you receive a gift, you avoid a problem. You wait for the world to give you a reason to feel thankful. This is a profound error. It places your emotional state, and therefore your power, in the hands of external circumstances. It makes you a victim of your own life, waiting for a favorable event to grant you a moment of happiness. This is not the way of the person who builds inner wealth. True gratitude is not a feeling you wait for. It is a discipline you practice. It is an active, conscious choice, just like choosing to read a book instead of watching television. It is a muscle you must build through daily exercise. Jim Rohn taught that gratitude is one of the most powerful disciplines for transforming your life because it directly attacks the weed of negativity at its root. It is the deliberate practice of focusing your attention on what you have, not on what you are missing. It is a conscious shift from a mentality of lack to a mentality of abundance, regardless of your current bank account or circumstances. Even in the most difficult of times, there is always something for which to be grateful. The breath in your lungs, the fact that you have another day to change your life, the lessons learned from a painful experience, the kindness of a single person. The practice of gratitude is the act of deliberately searching for these things and holding them in your mind. It is a declaration that you will not allow your circumstances to dictate your perspective. You will choose your perspective, and in doing so, begin to change your circumstances. This is not about pretending problems do not exist. It is about refusing to give them a monopoly on your attention. When you consistently practice this discipline, something remarkable happens. You begin to change your mental filter. Your brain is constantly filtering the billions of bits of information you are exposed to every second. It can only allow a tiny fraction of that information into your conscious awareness. What it chooses to show you is determined by what you have told it is important. If you consistently focus on problems, lack, and what is wrong with the world, you are training your brain to be an expert problem finder. It will dutifully filter your reality to show you more evidence to support that worldview. You will see obstacles everywhere. However, when you actively practice gratitude, you are retraining that filter. You are telling your brain, abundance is important, opportunity is important, what is good and what is working is important. Yet, your brain, like a loyal assistant, will begin to seek out and present you with evidence to support this new focus. Suddenly, you will start to see opportunities where you once saw dead ends. You will notice resources you previously overlooked. The world has not changed. Your perception of it has, and that changes everything. This is why the popular concept of the law of attraction is often misunderstood. The primary law is not the law of attraction, but the law of attention. You do not magically attract what you think about. You move toward what you consistently focus on. Your attention is the currency of your life. Where you invest it, your energy flows. What you focus on expands in your experience. If your attention is fixed on your debts and your bills, your mental energy is consumed by the feeling of lack, and your actions will be hesitant and fearful. If your attention is fixed on the opportunities you are grateful for and the skills you are developing, your energy becomes creative and expansive, and your actions become bold and purposeful. You are not pulling success toward you through wishful thinking. You are walking toward it step by deliberate step because it is the direction you are facing. Gratitude sets the compass of your attention toward abundance. Therefore, you must make this an active, non-negotiable part of your daily routine. The most effective way to do this is to get a simple journal. This will become one of your most valuable assets. Every morning, before the world has a chance to plant its weeds in your mind, write down 5 things you are grateful for. Do not just list them. Write down why you are grateful for them. I am grateful for my health because it gives me the energy to pursue my goals. I am grateful for this difficult client because they are teaching me patience. The why is what forces your mind to connect with the feeling and makes the practice powerful. Then, at the end of the day, do it again. Review your day and find 5 more things. This practice bookends your day with a focus on abundance. It starts your day with power and ends it with peace. It is a simple discipline, but practiced consistently, it will fundamentally change the soil of your mind, making it fertile ground for the seeds of success you are planting. The most dangerous belief you can hold is that your education is complete. For many, the day they receive a diploma is the day they mentally close the books forever. They believe they have arrived. But formal education will only make you a living, which is a fine and necessary thing. Self-education, however, is what will make you a fortune. Your real education, the one that shapes your destiny and your income, does not end in a classroom. It begins the moment you take personal responsibility for your own growth. The world is changing at a breathtaking pace. The skills that were valuable 5 years ago may be obsolete tomorrow. To stop learning is to begin stagnating. It is a conscious decision to be left behind. The person you will be in 5 years is largely determined by the books you read and the people you associate with starting today. You must develop a voracious, insatiable appetite for knowledge. This is the fuel for all future growth. This thirst for knowledge requires a fundamental shift in your identity. You must decide whether you will be a follower or a student. The follower is a passive consumer. They drift through life absorbing whatever comes their way, the evening news, social media gossip, mindless entertainment. Their information diet is one of junk food, providing empty calories of distraction but no real nourishment for the mind. The student, on the other hand, is an active pursuer of vital knowledge. A student goes to their library, whether it is a physical library, an online course, or a conversation with a mentor, with a specific purpose. They are not looking to be entertained, they are looking to be educated. They are hunting for ideas, skills, and insights that they can apply to improve their life, their business, and their character. Ask yourself honestly, does the content you consume leave you smarter, more capable, and more inspired? Or does it simply leave you numb and distracted, having merely passed the time? The follower seeks distraction from their life. The student seeks the construction of a better one. Every day, you make a choice between these two paths. With every article you read, every video you watch, and every conversation you have. Here is an unbreakable law of the marketplace. Your income will rarely exceed your personal development. To have more than you've got, you must become more than you are. The compensation you receive is a direct reflection of the value you bring to the world. If you want to double your income, you must find a way to double your value. How do you do that? You learn more. You develop new skills. You read the books on marketing, on leadership, on communication, on finance. You become so valuable that the marketplace has no choice but to reward you. Many people sit and wish for their circumstances to change. They hope for a raise. They hope for a better economy. But hope is not a strategy. The student understands that the change must come from within. You don't wish for things to get easier. You work to become better. You don't wish for fewer problems. You work to develop more skills. Your outer world of finance and achievement is a mirror, and it will only ever reflect the person you have built on the inside. Let us bring these ideas together. We have established the essential virtues that form your inner fortune. Discipline is the master virtue. It is the act of preparing the fertile soil of your mind, turning over the earth and creating a foundation for growth. Gratitude is the discipline of creating the right atmosphere. It is the constant sunlight that allows your potential to flourish and keeps the shadows of negativity at bay. And now, knowledge is the very seed you plant and the water you use to nourish it. Knowledge provides the substance, the raw material for your growth. Without discipline, the seeds of knowledge have no fertile ground to land on. Without gratitude, the weeds of worry will choke them out. But without knowledge, discipline is just empty motion, and gratitude is just a pleasant feeling with no direction. These virtues are not separate. They are a powerful, interconnected system for personal transformation. You now have the raw materials for building an extraordinary life. You have the cultivated soil of discipline, the life-giving sunlight of gratitude, and the high-quality seeds of knowledge. But a pile of lumber, bricks, and concrete is not a home. It is just a pile of potential. These materials must be assembled according to a specific plan by a skilled hand. You need an architect. So the question becomes, how do you become the architect of your own mind? How do you take these raw materials and construct the beliefs that will support the life you truly desire to live? You have gathered the materials. Discipline has tilled the soil, gratitude has provided the sunlight, and knowledge has given you the seeds. Now you must step into your most powerful role, the role of the architect. This is the advanced concept that separates the amateur from the master builder of life. You are not your beliefs, you are the creator of your beliefs. For most of your life, you have lived in a mental house built by others. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, and your culture all contributed a brick, a board, a window. They gave you their beliefs about money, about your potential, about what is possible for you, and you accepted them without question. Now you must realize that you are the owner of this house. You have the right and the responsibility to renovate. This process of mental renovation begins with a fearless inventory. You must walk through the rooms of your mind and identify the beliefs that are holding you back. A belief is nothing more than a thought you have thought over and over again until it feels like an undeniable truth. Find one. Perhaps it is the belief, I'm not a natural leader, or I've always been bad at sales, or the common one, I'm just not good with money. Once you have identified a limiting belief, you must become a detective. Ask yourself, where did this come from? Who gave this idea to me? Was it a parent who struggled with finances and said money doesn't grow on trees? Was it a teacher who overlooked your potential? Was it a failed business attempt from a decade ago that you misinterpreted as a life sentence of financial struggle? You will often find that your most limiting beliefs are not based on a careful analysis of reality, but on a second-hand opinion or an old experience that you have allowed to define you. The moment you see a belief's flimsy origin, it begins to lose its power over you. Now comes the work of the architect. You have identified a weak part of the foundation. You do not just stare at it, you replace it. You consciously choose a new, empowering belief and begin the process of installing it. This is not about lying to yourself. If you are in debt and you tell yourself, I am a millionaire, your subconscious mind will reject it instantly because it contradicts your known reality. The key is to create a belief that is both positive and believable, one that sets a new direction for your mind. So the old belief, I'm not good with money, is torn out. In its place, you deliberately install the new belief, I am a student of wealth creation, and I am learning and improving every single day. This statement is true. It is empowering. It does not deny your current reality, but it declares your future trajectory. It tells your subconscious mind what to focus on: learning, improving, and seeking out financial knowledge. This is how you become the architect of your soul. You are setting a new direction for your automatic mental processes. Your subconscious mind is a loyal servant. It will work tirelessly to bring about the reality that matches your dominant beliefs. By feeding it a new, empowering instruction, you are giving it a new blueprint to work from. I once knew a man who was a brilliant craftsman, but his business was always on the brink of failure. His core belief was, I am a creator, not a salesman. I hate selling. This belief caused him to avoid phone calls, procrastinate on sending invoices, and underprice his incredible work. He was starving his family with his own philosophy. Through a painful process of self-examination, he decided to perform this mental renovation. He replaced his old belief with a new one. Selling is simply the service of sharing my craft with someone who needs it. He wrote this down. He said it every morning. He began to see selling not as a conflict, but as an act of service. Within a year, his business doubled. The year after that, it doubled again. The man did not change. His craft did not change. He changed the single belief that was governing his actions, and that changed his entire reality. This is the power you possess. You are the architect. You can redesign the very structure of your thinking, and in doing so, build a life of your own design. A blueprint, no matter how brilliant, remains a piece of paper until the builders arrive and begin the daily work of laying bricks and raising beams. Your new empowering beliefs are your blueprint. Now, you must become the builder. You must translate your philosophy into a series of non-negotiable daily rituals. This is where the abstract becomes concrete, where intention becomes reality. These are not chores. They are the practices that build your inner fortune brick by brick. The first and most critical ritual is journaling. Your journal is the construction site for your mind. It is where you bring the raw materials of your thoughts and give them form. This is where you practice the discipline of gratitude, listing what you have and why it matters. It is also where you act as the architect, identifying a limiting belief that surfaced during your day and consciously writing out its replacement. Writing solidifies thought. It takes a fleeting idea from the ether and makes it real. The act of writing, "I am a student of wealth creation," begins to carve a new neural pathway in your brain, making the belief more permanent with each repetition. The second ritual is reading. This is the daily delivery of new materials to your construction site. You must commit to reading every single day, even if it is only for 15 or 30 minutes. But you must read with purpose. This is not about the desire to finish a book. It is about the desire to find the one idea that could change your life. You are not reading to be entertained. You are reading to acquire value. You must understand this connection directly. The 30 minutes you spend reading a book on marketing is not just 30 minutes of reading. It is the act of acquiring the knowledge that leads to financial independence. You are searching for the key that will unlock a higher income, a more efficient business, or a more profound understanding of yourself. The person who reads for 30 minutes every day will, in a year, live in a completely different mental world than the person who does not. They will have access to better ideas, make better decisions, and ultimately produce better results. Your library is your greatest resource for increasing your value in the marketplace. Third, you must practice the ritual of goal setting. Most people do not have a clear, written set of goals. They have vague wishes and hopes that float in their minds. A goal that is not written down is merely a dream. The act of writing down your goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Get specific. How much income do you want to earn this year? What skills do you want to master? What do you want your health to be like in 6 months? Write them down in detail as if you are placing an order with the universe. Then review these goals every single day. This daily review serves as a command to your subconscious mind. It tells your internal guidance system what to look for. It focuses your attention, filtering out distractions and highlighting opportunities that are aligned with your stated objectives. Goal setting is not about creating a rigid to-do list. It is about designing your future in advance and aligning all your resources toward its creation. Finally, you must implement the ritual of review. At the end of your day or your week, take a few moments to measure your progress. The architect constantly inspects the work of the builders to ensure it matches the blueprint. Did your actions today align with the person you intend to become? Did you practice your disciplines? Where did you fall short? This is not an exercise in self-criticism. It is a calm, objective assessment. It is data collection. If you find you are veering off course, you simply make a small correction for the next day. This constant feedback loop is what ensures you arrive at your desired destination. The power in all these rituals is not in their intensity, but in their consistency. It is not the person who spends 10 hours in the gym once a month who becomes fit. It is the person who spends 30 minutes there every single day. The power is in making these practices a non-negotiable part of your identity. They are simply what you do, like breathing or eating. This is how you move from philosophy to action and from action to results. You can build the most magnificent inner structure through your daily rituals, but if you leave the gates of your property open, vandals can come in and undo your work overnight. Your inner fortune, this precious asset you are cultivating, must be protected. This protection comes from understanding one of the most critical and often ignored laws of success, the law of association. Jim Rohn stated it simply: you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a casual observation. It is a mathematical certainty. Their attitudes, their standards, their beliefs, and their habits will inevitably seep into your life. You cannot spend your days surrounded by negativity, mediocrity, and cynicism and expect to live a positive, exceptional, and optimistic life. It is impossible. Your environment, especially your social environment, is always shaping you. Think back to the garden of your mind. You are the master gardener, diligently pulling weeds and planting seeds of purpose. Now consider your associations. Some people are like fellow gardeners. They bring you valuable seeds. They point out weeds you may have missed. And their presence helps your garden flourish. Other people, often with no ill intent, are like careless neighbors who toss their weed seeds over your fence. They complain, they gossip, they focus on problems instead of possibilities. Every conversation centered on blame or limitation is another weed seed landing in your carefully prepared soil. You can spend your morning pulling out the weeds of doubt, only to have a single 30-minute phone call plant them all back again. This is why protecting your associations is not an act of arrogance. It is an act of essential self-preservation. Your inner wealth is too valuable an asset to be left exposed to constant negative influence. The people you allow into your inner circle are either assets contributing to your growth or liabilities draining your potential. This requires you to conduct a courageous and honest audit of your inner circle. Make a list of the people you spend the most time with, and for each person, ask yourself a series of tough questions. What do we talk about? Is the conversation focused on gossip, complaints, and the problems of the world? Or is it focused on ideas, opportunities, goals, and growth? How do I feel after I leave their presence? Do I feel drained, cynical, and small? Or do I feel energized, inspired, and more capable? Do they challenge me to raise my standards? Or do they encourage my complacency and make excuses for my weaknesses?
This audit is not about judging others. It is about taking responsibility for the influences you allow to shape your character and your future.
You are the CEO of your life, and you must be selective about who you appoint to your board of directors. This does not mean you must coldly cut off everyone who does not meet a certain standard, especially family and old friends. That is a simplistic and often cruel interpretation of this principle. The key is to manage the association. There are 3 levels: disassociation, limited association, and full association. For the deeply toxic or negative influences, disassociation might be necessary for your survival. For many others, you can simply practice limited association. You can love them, you can be kind to them, but you limit your exposure. You might spend less time with them, or you consciously steer conversations away from the negative topics that drain you. You don't discuss your ambitious new business plan with the person who has shot down every idea you've ever had. You protect your dreams from the frost of their negativity. At the same time, you must proactively seek out full association with people who embody the virtues you wish to cultivate. This is the principle of emulation. You must actively search for your 5. Seek out mentors. Join groups, online or in person, of people who are committed to the same path of growth. Go to seminars. Read the books of the people you admire most, for in reading their words, you are in direct association with their minds. You must consciously design your circle of influence. It is too important to be left to chance. All these pieces, the discipline, the gratitude, the knowledge, the daily rituals, and now the conscious choice of your associations are the pillars of your inner fortune. They are immensely powerful on their own. But there is one final shift, one ultimate integration of these principles that turns them from a collection of powerful habits into an unstoppable force for success. This final understanding is what truly separates the 1% who live by design from the 99% who live by default. This brings us to the final transformation. It is not about learning another technique or adding one more task to your list. It is the integration of all these principles into a single cohesive identity. This is what it means to live in the 1%. This is not the 1% defined by the media, a group measured solely by their net worth. The true 1% is the small percentage of the population who understand and live by the law of cause and effect as it applies to their own character. They are the few who take absolute unconditional responsibility for the state of their inner world, knowing that their outer world is nothing more than a mirror. They have stopped chasing the reflection and have gone to work on the person casting it. This is the profound shift from being a creature of circumstance to a creator of your life. The ultimate secret, the one that ties everything together, is this: inner wealth always precedes outer wealth. This is the reverse of what the world teaches you. The world tells you, go get the money, and then you'll have the freedom to be happy, disciplined, and generous. This is a lie that has created generations of frustrated and unfulfilled people. The universal law is, and has always been, that you must first become the person who is disciplined, grateful, wise, and courageous. From that state of being, the having follows as a natural and predictable result. You do not get rich and then become disciplined. You become disciplined, and that inner order attracts the outer rewards. You do not achieve success and then become grateful. You practice gratitude, and that abundant mindset reveals the path to success. The effect cannot precede the cause. You must first sow before you can reap. Your primary work is not to chase wealth, it is to cultivate the character that wealth is attracted to. Think of it like a magnet. A weak magnet can only attract small metal filings. To attract something heavier, you do not chase the object. You work on increasing the power of the magnet itself. Your character, your philosophy, your skills, these are your magnetic power. Every time you choose discipline over ease, you strengthen your magnet. Every time you practice gratitude over complaint, you strengthen your magnet. Every book you read, every new skill you acquire, every positive association you cultivate, you are increasing your personal magnetism. Success, wealth, and opportunity are not things you run after. They are things you attract by the person you have become. This is the final connection. Your value in the marketplace is a direct and unavoidable reflection of the value you have cultivated within yourself. The income you earn is simply society's compensation for the problems you can solve, the service you can render, and the value you can bring. If you wish to have more, you must simply become more. Become more skilled. Become more disciplined. Become more knowledgeable. Become more valuable in your character and your philosophy. The effort to improve your circumstances by focusing on the circumstances is wasted. The intelligent effort is to work on the one thing you have absolute control over, yourself. This is the final transformation. It is the moment you stop hoping for a better harvest and start becoming a better farmer. It is the realization that your fortune is not a destination to be reached, but an identity to be built. Day by day, choice by choice. This is the hidden wealth that makes all other wealth possible. True wealth is not the goal you chase, but the certain result of the valuable person you deliberately become. Your fortune is not found in your bank account. It is forged in your character, your philosophy, and your daily disciplines. If you are committed to building your inner fortune, subscribe to continue this journey of personal development and master the timeless principles of a well-lived life. This is the path to becoming the architect of your own soul.